So James, what's on the agenda?
All right, well, we got a multitude of topics we could talk about. I know currently I just finished watching the Dune movie not too long ago, which with Zendaya and everything else, and with Batista. But I also been reading a lot of manga and manga. We got games. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff. I mean, we got topics, but let's pick something. We don't want to bore the fans too much.
I agree. Let's get this show started.
All right, so the first one that we got on the list is something that you want to talk about, and I ain't too much into Nintendo like that, but you put why Waluigi isn't in Smash.
Why?
So I'm sure this is a topic that a multitude of people have talked about because Sora just came out, the last character.
Exactly.
Everybody lost their mind.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, you might be more of a steward of this than I am. So, what's your opinion?
Well, it's currently simple. Well, it's not as simple as people think, but the reason I believe Waluigi isn't a character in Smash is because of the fact that, one, he doesn't have his own game. People say, oh, he's in Mario Party. I say, that's not its own solo game. Wario has a solo game in WarioWare series, Wario World. Yep. Super Mario, you already know he has a bunch of series and all that other stuff. Legend of Zelda, you have Link, Zelda, Ganondorf, and list goes on to characters. Captain Falcon and F-Zero, Bayonetta in their own game. And all these characters in that roster are either the main characters or the side character, or like the secondary main character of their own game. People say, well, what about Daisy? Well, Daisy is part of Super Mario, right?
Okay, so
she's not part of like the main adventure, but like she is part of the story. Waluigi here has not been anything besides Mario Party and Mario Kart. Those.
Okay, so here's a question. You're saying that is not he doesn't have his own game. So, but he has been in other games, but just as a playable character, I guess.
Yes.
So, I guess the bigger question would be well, depending on the first game he was in, that means that he would still be considered part of the IP of that particular game, and depending on how old it is, that means he's a old character. And is he a Nintendo IP or is he from a third party?
He's technically from a third party because that's what not many people notice. Yeah, like he's a character made of Nintendo, but he wasn't originally made from Nintendo. He was made from Camelot, if I'm correct. He's from Camelot Software, and they just decided to put him in entirely. Yes, I understand that people, like fans around the world on Smash Brothers, like Sora's the number one on the ballot, but many people wanted Waluigi. But Waluigi, he does not have his own.
Well, while I'm not really too privy on Smash, I am into fighting games, but it is one of those things of that kind of is a contradiction then, because if he's in the Nintendo IP, Waluigi, right? But Smash is literally the game where IPs of different places are in Smash. Like you said, well, Bayonetta is a Nintendo IP, but Bayonetta technically came from Platinum Games originally. So, same as Ken and Ryu are from Capcom. Things of that nature. So, I'm kind of curious as to, that would be a contradiction for Nintendo not to put Waluigi in. Even if it was, well, I guess you would want him as a character, not a skin, right? So why wouldn't Nintendo want Waluigi in? Like, outside of their own differences, because if Wario's in there, why wouldn't Waluigi be in?
Well, like I said before, like he doesn't have his own game yet.
That's the only reason.
No, look, that's one big reason. He's not. That's another big reason. He's not an original Nintendo character. Yeah, I understand Bayonetta was originally by Platinum, but Nintendo bought them. Bought her.
But they didn't buy Ken and Ryu. They didn't buy Terry. They didn't buy
that is true.
Sephiroth.
That is true. But here's a big part. You just said Sephiroth, Ken, Ryu. Those are big time games around the world that most people know. For example, in South America, King of Fighters is big down there.
Yeah.
And when Terry was announced, I guarantee you, the entire South America just might throw a dang parade down there, just because Terry was announced. And even myself, when Terry was announced, I was like, oh shoot.
So again, this is opinion. that we're saying, but that means that you're saying Nintendo has IP bias.
Nah,
That's what you're saying.
nah,
No,
not necessarily. It's not necessarily.
Because how many? Okay, so Waluigi comes from the Mario universe, right?
Correct.
So how many? Well, they have a multitude of smashes, right?
Yeah.
So, and in every one of those, there was Mario characters. And Waluigi wasn't able to be put in any of them, and this is their biggest one with the largest lineup. They couldn't put Waluigi in as a playable character, but yet and still, like you said, or like we both said, major characters of AAA games, AAA to A titles, they're from their own IPs, prospectively. They're in this game.
Exactly.
But you have Daisy, you have Peach, you have Bowser Jr., Mario, Luigi, and maybe some other ones because I know they got like trophy ones or assist ones or whatever else. Oh, and you have Wario.
Exactly.
With that many people, you mean to tell me Waluigi isn't worth replacing Daisy or Bowser Jr. or even just an addition? So why wouldn't they be put in if those are major players in even their own franchise? You said that, yeah, third-party character didn't have their own game, but every person that's in the game is from a major IP or title. It has to be IP bias. It has to be. If we're going to go off, we're doing our little conspiracy theory on why Waluigi's not in, because adding another character to a game, especially if they have their own toolkit, would only make the game more exciting. How many people that, like yourself, apparently you want Waluigi in the game, would play him?
Exactly, I would.
And it wouldn't be a troll. You would just want to make sure that that character is his own unique character.
Exactly.
So, that's an interesting topic. Guys, leave a comment. Let us know what you actually think on why Waluigi's not in there, or if you are a Waluigi fan. Give us your theory on what you think. Okay, so we have a few here. Let's switch over from Nintendo and gamers, and let's go on to this one that we was talking about before with the Venom, the second Venom movie coming out. Who is the best symbiote host? You said Flash Thompson or Eddie Brock. So, I have a lot to say on it, or maybe not. But I want to hear what you think. What's yours?
This one is a very tough one between Flash and Eddie Brock's story. Because here's a little thing. Most of us know about Eddie Brock and the symbiote story, but not much about Flash Thompson and how he got the symbiote, and what his life came after the symbiote. Because when Flash Thompson, before he got the symbiote, he had no legs, and he was a football star, and I think he lost his legs from an accident, if I recall from the comic, or something happened.
Hey, you let us know. I want to hear this from you.
I was like, he's like he got his leg from an accident, and then when the symbiote came to him, he got his legs back, and thanks to his athletic ability, and not only learning from martial arts, he became faster, stronger, more durable than ever, and he became a character known as Agent Venom.
The symbiote was searching for the perfect host. It's found it. Bottom line, Flash and Venom are one.
Cool! What now?
Who I believe he's like basically an anti-hero in my opinion, because at times he went to work with S.H.I.E.L.D. at one point, and then the next time he went to another group of, he's basically his own person.
Yeah,
which I really like about Flash Thompson. But then later on, the symbiote left him and then another symbiote named Anti-Venom came into his life, and now he is more I feel like, I don't know if he's more better off as Agent Anti-Venom versus Agent Venom. I gotta do some more research about that.
I I don't know. I can't remember too much on Flash because I can't lie. Marvel has made me biased with Eddie Brock. I am the Eddie Brock for Venom like campaign for a lot of reasons. But the movie not too long ago, and let's just be clear, if we're gonna go by comic continuity, guys, and we're talking about, you know, the storyline and how they portrayed and everything else, even then I still say that you can't get no better than Eddie Brock. Not too recently they had I've been listening because not too many times I'm able to read the comics, but they got YouTubers that cover them, and of course we're not gonna, you know, put them out there, but they just had the Symbiote War not too long ago where Eddie Brock as Venom became the new Symbiote God, because the Symbiote God was always Null, and you know, if you cover comics, they talk about everything else. The man's busted. He's an ancient evil or ancient deity, however you want to call it. But Eddie Brock Venom took down Null. Granted, I'm not going to give too many liberties. People that like comics, if you know about it, you know what I'm talking about. But that is a really good story. Like, but now let's go to movies, right? Because comic books wise, they're doing Venom, Eddie Brock Venom justice. And actually, if we're going to go to it, next one's technically his kid. But anyways, let's go to Tom Hardy's Venom.
Yes.
Best, well, honestly, only representation. But when you talk about best representation on the symbiote fusing to somebody, granted, this is a bias because, you know, the only other we had was Black Spider-Man, you know, Tobey Maguire's 3, but
Skinny Venom.
That's a different story for a different time on that one.
We don't want to talk about it.
But yeah, but when it comes down to between Flash Thompson and Eddie Brock, if we're talking about Venom, the character, how it's portrayed, how they look, the story, and everything else, I'll do my research into Flash Thompson. You know, because Flash Thompson still technically has a symbiote. But he is technically known as Anti-Venom now, and I can't remember the backstory on that. But if we're just talking about best symbiote, and we're talking about, if we're talking about the person, I still give it to Eddie Brock. But if we're talking about the symbiotes, the iconicism, and the character representation, I'm going to be biased and say Venom still, because Anti-Venom hasn't been around long enough. So you know, time and tenure, stories, and everything else, I'm being biased. But after the Symbiote War with Venom versus Null, I'm straight Eddie Brock.
Straight Eddie Brock.
Straight Eddie Brock. But guys, I mean, again, always hit that comment section. Let us know what you actually think about that particular one, because I would like to know if somebody has some detailed information on Flash Thompson and has he done any of the feats that Eddie Brock has done. Let me know, especially as Agent Venom or Anti-Venom. Let me know. Actually, I'm starting to think about it. I don't think it's Anti-Venom. It might be Agent Venom, because Agent Venom is when he has the symbiote and it looks like a suit, like a military suit,
yeah,
right?
It's a military suit.
Because Anti-Venom, if I'm correct, is the symbiote that's all white with the black, and he has like the red interior mouth, and he kind of looks like a skinny Carnage almost, if I'm correct. But yeah, next topic that we can actually talk about. Let's see. Go into some different things here. All right, so I mean, we mentioned technically a Marvel movie, but I'm gonna call it a Sony movie. It's not really a Marvel.
Not yet.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think so. I don't think that's gonna go into MCU. No.
Even after the.
Well, because of the thing that I mean, I guess this is on and off topic. They're saying that the next Spider-Man movie is literally the equivalent to Avengers Endgame. So, you know, technically Spider-Man, everything in Spider-Man's universe, it belongs to Sony. That's their IP. So it could be that they're taking Spider-Man back to do things with it. But Tom Holland is technically, he's made movies for Sony, and he's made movies for the MCU. I guess that might have been a collaboration or whatever dealing with the contract. But it looks like Sony might be taking Spider-Man back. But, I mean, that's totally fine, because with the multiverse opening up from the Loki TV show, and then the stuff with Marvel What If, and Kevin Feige did say that some things are continuity, some things aren't. We just want you to enjoy it as it is.
Yep.
The multiverse opens up way too many things. And, of course, they already talked about how Deadpool might be getting introduced in. We don't. At some point, we already heard the rumor behind X-Men supposed to be leaked in some type of way in Doctor Strange too.
Yep.
So there's Spider-Man might be missed, but Sony's gonna be doing Spider-Man. It's just that if the Spider-Man, you know what? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this before we get on any other topic, because we were talking about this anyway. Our favorite Spider-Man out of the Sony our favorite Spider-Man IP out of the Sony lineup, and the screw-ups that pretty much happened. And this will actually, segue into a different topic, another topic that we was talking about. We have 3 different Spider-Man that all belong to Sony. One of them Sony Disney, but belong to Tobey. We got Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, which was the OG. Then we have Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. And then we have Tom Holland's, who is the hybrid for Disney Marvel. Now, we both agreed before, Tobey Maguire is a bad Spider-Man.
Yep.
But when he can play some drama roles, boy, Peter Parker, that's him.
Yeah.
That's him.
Big time.
Andrew Garfield, I already said, Andrew Garfield probably, for me, from a comic continuity standpoint, played the best Spider-Man Peter Parker combination, but it also depends on what type of storyline you're actually looking at. Spider-Man is somewhat of an asshole, and he does play somewhat of a rugged but yet intelligent Peter Parker. He did a good job with it. So for me, as far as a mixture between the two, he played it very well. But if I'm correct, Tobey Maguire plays the Peter Parker that I guess Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire kind of plays the same timeline.
It kind of plays like this. It kind of plays at the same time
because it's like end of high school, going to college type of thing.
Yeah.
But Tom Holland is technically still in high school, so it's a different timeline. So if I had to take that into account, between Tobey and Andrew Garfield, I like Andrew Garfield, regardless of the stuff that he did to get himself kicked out of it. But Tom Holland, different Spider-Man, younger Spider-Man.
Younger Spider-Man at that.
I like him, but now that, coming up with that, can we even say that there's even 3 to debate? I mean, if we're talking about just from a Sony standpoint, that's hard between Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland just because of the time frame. But I do like the jerk side of Andrew Garfield, because Spider-Man was a jerk.
He was a jerk in a lot of the times.
And this isn't to discredit Tom Holland. I like Tom Holland.
Yeah, he was.
I like Tom Holland. But it is a different Spider-Man. And the best thing that Sony Marvel did was not keep repeating the Uncle Ben, Aunt May, and all this other stuff.
I like that too.
But you know what? I rambled on enough. Like, which one's for you? Between the 3 or 2, whatever.
Most likely you had touched down most of it, because you had said about Peter Parker, hands down Tobey Maguire, like 100%. If you want a Peter Parker, you get Tobey Maguire, 100%. Spider-Man wise, I would say Andrew Garfield, because like he played, because like in the first Amazing Spider-Man, he did some jokes. He did a lot of jokes. There was a time that I think in the scene of the first Amazing Spider-Man, he broke the 4th wall at one point, which is what Spider-Man does. In a few instances, he breaks the 4th wall. He cracks a few jokes, which is something that Tom Holland doesn't really like. He tells jokes, or like he makes some sarcastic remarks, but he doesn't really break the 4th wall as much, which was what Spider-Man does. Not as often as Deadpool. Let's get that straight.
Okay.
Not as often as Deadpool. But does Spider-Man break the 4th wall? Like, oh yeah, like in certain instances in the comics and shows, yeah, he does. But as for picking wise, as for like the overall wise, I would lean toward Andrew Garfield.
That's just a real knife.
My weakness, it's small knives.
Just let me go.
Anything but knives!
Oh, it's so simple.
That was cool.
I would
Oh,
lean.
wow.
I would like it. It's a toss up between Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield, because like Tom Holland, he did good. He did good and whatnot, but like he's still like he's still transitioning to the young face to the Spider-Man.
So it's because of the timeline thing I was talking about.
Yeah,
right?
it's basically the time. Like it's the if he goes to the next, if he goes into a university and then he is like in his prime and everything, and I see.
So you want to see that? Okay.
And I see that happen, and if he nails it, then I would change my pick, and I say, okay, Tom Holland is the best overall.
So I mean, guys, what do y'all think as far as with that? I mean, do y'all agree with us, or do y'all have a difference of opinion when it comes down to Sony's Spider-Man? Is it really more of a debate when it comes down to Sony's Spider-Man solely between Tobey and Andrew Garfield, or when we're talking about Spider-Man / Peter Parker in general, does Tom Holland actually play a role in that, though the timeline and where they established where he's at as far as his age come into play? Let us know in the comments. Man, we're doing good, and it seems like the comics are doing good, but you want to continue down on it, or you want to do something different?
Let's change it up a little bit, and ooh, I see one right here. I see one right here.
Okay.
This series has ended in the month of May on Netflix, and it was one of the hottest animated shows that I ever seen in my life. And I played majority of the games. Castlevania.
All right, talk about it.
In terms of Castlevania, it's one of the
what are these? Beastmaster, Forge Master?
Forge Master.
Yes.
The little.
I'm trying to remember. Isaac was the black guy or the
the black guy, the bald headed black guy.
I'll actually say it's both of them. I actually like both of them because
Which one? Isaac and who?
The other one. He
Hector?
had the yes. What is it? Hector, the one that had the vampire girlfriend.
Yeah, Hector.
Well, we don't want to spoil too many things, so spoiler alert. We might be talking about some stuff that are spoilers when it comes down to this. I want to say both of them, but definitely Isaac. Isaac as the Forge Master, the strong story.
He has a
and the fight with Kamala.
Carmella, yeah.
Yeah, Carmella. Oh my God! Like, but here's the thing: if it wasn't for Hector, that setup, the setup of the whole thing was just way too good. Like he was already pre-doing things to happen, but it was too good. And then the whole the identity crisis, just because of them following Dracula and trying to find themselves. It was its own story just within the whole Castlevania universe, but it was so strong.
Yes, it was.
Now, I can't lie, because I have the Castlevania Judgment game, and I main Selphie. Now, if nobody knows what Castlevania Judgment was a 2D fighting game that came out on the Wii. Well, it was a 3D model 2D fighting game. It was kind of like, it had like this little arena thing in it as well, but the whole mental thing, and the way they showed how she advanced in the magic as she was going on, like, Selphie was...
You mean Sypha or...
Is it... How do you pronounce her name?
Sypha.
It's Sypha?
Sypha Bernardis.
Okay, look, you know better than me. All I know is, I'm gonna call her Elementalist. She badass.
Yeah.
Like, the thing she did with ice.
For real.
The platform she was able to stand on and everything else.
She turned into like a little drill at the end. Like she just...
Yeah, like that. But I will say this, though. I don't want to discredit Trevor, because Trevor was really good at it. Especially, I think it was the end of season 3 when he pulled out the 2 whips.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Look, I ain't gonna say anything on that. All I'm saying is, watch season 1 through 4. But end of season 3 was probably one of my favorite fights. Outside of the end of season 4, season 4 was really good. I think it's like the last 2 or 3 episodes. That whole build up to it. See, the thing about it is I'm literally now looking at everybody and seeing what they did, I mean, Trevor fought death. Granted, plot armor, but he did die. Plot armor, but he did die.
He did.
Alucard, I like Alucard's, like, he tries, but he's always disappointed. Like with humanity and everything else, like the twins. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Until he meets the woman that changed his mind.
Oh, and only because she was headstrong. Only.
Yup.
Only. In fact, I gotta put her at number 1 almost. If you think about it, you don't think about it. Alucard, Dracula's gone.
Yep.
Alucard is the strongest creature. Well, if maybe Kamala, but Alucard is the strongest creature, but he never tries. And you have this woman that literally is bulldozing her way into act right. And it happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, can we not give her an award for that? Like, that, if it wasn't for the fact that he actually does care about humans, maybe that would be a different story. If it's like Dracula, like, I'm just gonna kill you if you don't stop bothering me. But for the fact that Alucard cares about humans, but he has this very introvert approach to things. He tries, but humans keep
Fucking him over.
Yeah, but this girl, she changed. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I might have to give it to her for number 1, and she's a side character. Yeah, but I might have to give it to her for number 1. But if we're truly gonna go main characters and who actually did a lot to progress the story along and bring some dynamic, I won't even say is Sylphie. I'll say it's Sypha. I'll say it's the relationship between Trevor and Sypha, because that had a strong story plot to it. A strong story plot. So you know what? I'm gonna give it to both of them. I'm just gonna give it to both of them. Because Isaac and Hector's is good and is strong, but there's something about the dynamic because they were strangers. They met together. Saved each other, became lovers, traveled with one another, the hardship, overcame things. Even in the eyes of humans are disgusting. Probably no worse or better than demons. But they still tried and fought to make sure that everything was good. I can't lie. Maybe I'm reading too far into it, but that part alone, the way I'm looking at it, that dynamic was really good. I mean, you gotta remember, Hector's and Isaac's came from Dracula, from being soldiers and everything else, and trying to find their way in the world. But an actual dynamic on trying to save humanity, even with the disgustingness or the ugly side of them, yeah, that's strong, man. That's strong. That's easily for me 1 and 2.
That's easily 1 and 2. Me, I still say number 1 is Isaac, and the reason why I say it's Isaac is because, like you said, he came from Dracula's. Mm-hmm. He's one of Dracula's henchmen, and then after he died, he just have left with basically almost with no purpose at all. So he's basically slaughtering people left and right until he met the captain of the ship in season 3.
Yeah,
that I'm like he's just the captain of the ship, and he just said I need to borrow a ship. I'm gonna kill. He's like you can't kill me. He's like you can't kill me. He's like how you gonna command the ship? He was like it's not that hard. He's like oh really? You think it's not that hard? And then but the moment I believe Isaac became the best character, the moment the captain talked to him, basically teaching him some wisdom that there are good in people. Yeah. Which Isaac was just gonna kill, like more people. He was gonna kill Hector right off. He has his whole mind set on Hector before then, but then when he had a conversation with the captain, talking about how of human life, how good is it to be free, something like that. It changes Isaac's perspective. Like Isaac, like let's say for example, Isaac's world currently right now is pitch black. And then the moment he met the white knight, the white light of character in the captain, it changes his whole narrative. And then he's like, you know what? I'm gonna take some of his advice, but I'm gonna twist some of mine and stick it to my way. I'm gonna live how I want to live.
Yeah. So it's So it's the character development of that one scene that
Yup.
literally hit it home for you.
And I was like, yo, and like even though there was a time he fought against Legion, a boss in one of the games that with a bunch of magicians, and they see the giant globe, and I said that's one of the bosses in the game. He fought against it, and then later on he just changes his whole perspective. I'm just like, yo, man. I was like, yo, and then, but like you said before, the fight between him and Carmella, and the fact that him and Hector play Lenore like a fiddle, like no problem.
I dubbed that scene the Bloody Masquerade Waltz, like it, because it was just too good. It was just too good, you know. But yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one as well, because it's interesting because like the perspectives, because yours is Isaac, and literally he had the Vegeta character development, but in a shorter time span. In a shorter time span. What else can we We actually had a few other things, guys.
Do a few more, or
you know what? I might actually say let's actually cut this episode. You know what I'm saying? Guys, if you liked what we talked about, and there's gonna be many more to come, we can definitely do that. But please, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and definitely subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so that this way you can catch more entertainment that we talk about in this news of, geekdom. You know what I'm saying? And all things in this culture. But I know I've been rambling. I might need some water. You got anything to tell them?
Yeah, like just basically, please like, rate, and subscribe. And like, in the future, you'll most likely see us do the reaction videos. You're gonna probably see us react to basically the upcoming video game awards. We're gonna most likely try to do a reaction to that as well. See which new game is gonna come out, because like I was hyped up when I saw Spider-Man 2, basically. Miles Morales came, but I call it Spider-Man 2 that came out when we saw
that trailer, that trailer when it was Venom in that alley. I was like,
oh shoot. And the Wolverine game, I'm interested in that too, because the last one we had was
the Wolverine game. Not so much that Rising Sun or whatever one though. I'm more interested in
the Rising Sun.
The other one where it was like all of them, and then you see them with like mystic armor. They have like hieroglyphics on all of them.
I gotta see the trailer. I gotta see.
Oh, because it was in like the whatever last award show. I think it was was it a Sony award show? It was something, but we're rambling, guys. Again, thank you for joining the podcast, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.
Take care.